Buzzing for Paddy. He's a really difficult guy to try a head inside single leg on. I remember the first time I grappled with him. I was doing a little wrestling round, grabbed a head inside single, and he jumped up for that flying triangle. The way he's done in Cage Warriors before. Like, he did that jumping arm and guillotine to the triangle setup. Brilliant. I'm really buzzing for Paddy. There's a lot of crabbing bucket syndrome with the fans towards Paddy. It's a sick fight.
Yeah, it was good. And, like, the moment that I saw the leg creeping up, I was like, this is, like, well over this.
It's a tricky one when a submission puts you unconscious and then you have no chance of tapping to the limb snapping.
Yeah, like, feel bad for Bobby there. Like, we've seen a little clip of Paddy and Bobby post-fight talking about it, and Paddy was like, I didn't like want to snap your arm, but it was just sort of in the fight, and he went, I didn't really know if you were asleep or whatever. And Bobby was just like, yeah, it's all good with his arm in a sling. So fair fucks to Bobby as well.
Man, Bobby was unconscious whilst Jalen Turner was landing 12 million punches on him and the ref was letting that go. And now Bobby was unconscious whilst he was getting his arm snapped and the ref was letting it go. He's an unfortunate guy.
Yeah, this has been a rough recent spell for him.
Leon Edwards, I mean, he kind of been passive in a lot of fights for a long time, but there's no disrespect to him, man. Bilal's a good fighter, and as well, the best fighters that were unbeaten at welterweight, well, nearly unbeaten at welterweight, Usman and Covington, for ages, Leon Edwards just ran through him, kind of. Obviously, there was a comeback one, but then he made it look pretty effortless in the next one. Made beating Covington look pretty effortless. But yeah, he'll be back. He'll be doing good things, I expect. He'll be motivated. Tom Aspinall, well, John Jones is going to duck him. There's no way John Jones takes that fight. John Jones fights an old Stipe or no one. I think that kind of fight, Tom Aspinall's footwork, like touch with the jab, step outside, and then throws right hand over their lead shoulder, is just built to make a mockery of John Jones' guard, especially an older, slower John Jones. You know, he still has good wrestling, but I don't know if he has the speed to get to his wrestling against someone like Aspinall. But he proved us wrong with Gain. Gain not as good a wrestler as Aspinall.
Yeah, like, and John Jones is very, very meticulous with stalking opponents and was very aware how lazy Cyril Gane can be between fights and how he doesn't really train grappling unless he absolutely has to. Whereas it doesn't take much observing of Tom Aspinall's training to realise how incredibly thorough he is in his fight preparation, which, you know, you'd almost forgive him for not being as thorough because he has finished people very quickly, and like a lot of his fights don't go over 2 minutes. You'd probably forgive him a bit if he was just like, man, I'm just going to chin someone. But no, despite his fights going the way they go, he's not really following the puncher's path. He is still diligently working his escapes, his wrestling, his setups, his strengthening. Like, he's diligently putting tons of effort into every single area of the game. And I think that is the part of it John Jones is afraid of.
Like modern Cain Velasquez, but faster and harder hitting and less chain wrestling. Arnold Allen, what a sick fight. Giga Chikadze looking really fast. He goes orthodox, kind of Lyoto Machida style, where he just goes opposite stance to whatever the opponent's stance is and pings that open side kick. But Arnold was ready for it. He was really aggressively circling right to take a little bit off that kick, and it put him in really good position to fire back with his left straight all the time. Even if he couldn't land clean back with a counter, especially in that first round, he didn't get put off by the speed and the power of Giga. He started to just pressure in to make him move and make him off balance, and that paid dividends in the second and third round.
Yeah, obviously you didn't watch it with commentary, but like...
I don't watch fights with commentary.
One of the few good reads that DC has picked up on is that Arnold Allen was very aggressively circling to his right until he felt a little bit of the sting go off Giga's shots, and then he started to cut him off and get in his face a little bit more. Circle to the right again. Feel Giga's taking a second to breathe in that. Another thing that went really underappreciated is Arnold Allen landed some really good body shots.
Yeah, I know straight punches to the body as Giga was circling and squaring up. Big solar plexus coming open.
I know from personal experience, Arnold Allen has really good body punches, and it's like, I think once someone has done something to you in sparring, you are a bit more aware. Like, you look for it a bit more in fights. When you watch them fight. So they were really good. They didn't go that noticed by people, but like Allen's body shots paid huge dividends. Also, I was been talking to Arnold actually. He was saying he buggered his hand in the first round, but just thought meh, and then kept hitting him with it because MMA is dumb.
Buzzing to see him back in the win column. He had some sick fights. The Holloway fight was sick and close.
Very close.
The Avloya fight was an unbelievably entertaining fight. One of the most entertaining fights this year. And it was very close. It's good to see him back in the win.
Arguably, Allen won that. And there was such a sketchy moment in it. The actual rules of the sport have been changed because that's how hard done by Allen was.
Also, two other things. He was doing a really nice knee feint to come in. Really good strategy against the kicker. And as soon as Giga would switch stance, he would kind of touch and step outside. Kind of like a southpaw Aspinall a little bit. That touch and step to the outside.
Like Zahabi can say some questionable things and some brilliant things, but this was one of the fights where a lot of what he was just going tie hop, like he was saying that quite a lot, and it worked very well.
Other than that, buzzing for Auburn Elliott, absolute mule, buzzing 2-0 in the UFC. What a legend!
The thing with Auburn as well is like he seems to have sort of risen to the occasion a bit. Like he seems to have like. I'm not going to use the word levels, but like his skills have jumped up in a lot of areas since he's got to the UFC. Another fight that George hasn't watched that you should definitely watch and George should definitely watch is Modestas Bukauskas versus Kyokushin Polish fella. That fight was sick. There was some quite silly and unusual moments because Kyokushin style kicking is quite unusual. And the guy was like almost from like chest to chest range firing out high kicks, which is mental at light heavyweight. There was big momentum swings in the fight. It was cool. And then Modi beat with a half guard arm triangle. I was trying to think of the Japanese word for it.
Not something. I don't know. I'm not Taiwanese. See you later.